What's up? So I want to apologize for not being able to make a video in the middle of the week. It just this week kind of got a little hectic with real life, so I decided to just keep it to once a week this week. So hopefully I'll have more time to record a video on Wednesday of this week, which would be kind of fun. So we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get as hectic. And sorry if my camera kind of freezes up. It's been kind of on the fritz lately, so I'm going to try to do as best as I can for now. So the book I want to talk about today is Stephen King's Carrie. And this is one of my favorite stories ever. It's Stephen King's first novel to be published. He actually wrote about 4 beforehand. And he originally threw out the manuscript because he wasn't happy with it. But his wife dug it from the trash and told him he should keep finishing it. And it became this, and it became very popular and put Stephen King on the map. So that's that. So this is a book about a girl named Carrie White who discovers that she has telekinetic powers, and she lives in a small town in Maine with her mother, who is an absolute religious fanatic, over the top, pretty much abusive, both physically and mentally. Carrie cannot escape any torment in her life at this point. She's bullied in school and no one really talks to her. At home, her mother just makes her feel guilty pretty much about everything she does. The subject of bullying does come up a lot in this book and in the 3 adaptations I'm going to talk about, which I really like and is really cool because it was an issue back then and it's still an issue now. I think King was trying to sort of pinpoint the dangers of bullying because it can really push someone over the edge, unfortunately. And I had to deal with that in high school and just in school in general, and I'm sure plenty of other people have too. So maybe Carrie can open up someone's eyes. So this is very much an origin story because you see Carrie along the way developing her powers and just wanting to learn more about them, which is a lot of fun for us because we get to see how these powers work in this world. It also helps develop the story too, because the story is actually written through not just like dialogue and a way a novel's written, but a lot of it's also clips from newspapers and interviews about the disaster of that Carrie kind of brought upon just everything, the whole town in general. I don't want to give too much away, but there is a big disaster at the end. I'm sure everyone knows about the prom, because that's a pretty big thing. So this is one of my favorite books. It not only introduced me to King very well and was the first kind of Stephen King book that I actually finished, it really introduced me to the characters that he writes about and just how you connect to them and how you kind of just kind of follow them in their footsteps, and you really feel for Carrie, which is one of the hardest things to read in this book because you kind of get into her head and you see the torment that she has to go through and stuff like that, and it really is kind of heart-wrenching in a way. She goes through all this and she wants to try to be good in the end, but this story is also a tragedy, so it doesn't sort of end out that way. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to ruin anything. So there are actually 3 adaptations made of Carrie. One's a little bit less well known and the other 2 are pretty big, especially now because the newest one did just come out a few months ago. I think all 3 of them have something to take away. So the first one is obviously the Brian De Palma film from 1976 with Sissy Spacek. Absolutely amazing film. Aesthetic-wise, just very beautifully shot. You have the split screen for the prom, which is very famous. The prom scene is awesome. And it is a classic 70s horror film. It's actually John Travolta's first role, which I find really cool. And it's pretty true to the characters of the book. The ending is a little different, but that seems to be true with every single adaptation of Carrie, so no big surprise there for me. The acting is really good. Sissy Spacek and the girl who plays the mother actually got Academy Award nods for their act. And I think the 1976 one is the one that everyone's sort of seen because it is the classic one. And I don't blame anyone because it is awesome. It is a classic horror film. It's campy, but it's also kind of just weird. And I love weird. So the second one is the less well-known one. It's the 2002 version made for TV. It's directed by David Carson. The ending is very, very different. I know I said they're all different, but this one's very, very different. And I actually read that this was supposed to lead up into a TV series that actually never happened. So I'm kind of iffy on the ending. But I will say this was the adaptation that was really, really, really faithful to the book, which kind of surprised me. But it actually was very faithful, so I got to give it credit for that. The girl who plays Carrie is really cool. The camera is a little weird for me. If you watch it, you'll see what I mean. I don't know how to describe it. I guess the best way would be a home video camera mixed with like a cinematic camera. The prom scene in this one is awesome. I think it might be my favorite prom scene out of all three of them. The CGI is a little funky, but not in the prom scene. So, yeah. You should definitely give this a watch. This is the lesser known one, but I definitely feel like it's worth the watch. It's also the longest one, clocking in at a little more than 2 hours. So, grab some popcorn and get ready. And of course, we have the newest Carrie, which is what this cover is taken from. With Chloe Grace Moritz playing Carrie and Julianne Moore playing Mrs. White. Directed by Kimberly Pierce, this is actually the first adaptation I ever saw. I saw it the day I actually finished the book, so that was a lot of fun. This is a very good adaptation. It's a little modernized. There are cell phones and stuff like that to try to bring it into the present. The prom scene was handled very well. The acting between Chloe Grace Moritz and Julianne Moore was some of the best and my favorite that I've seen in any Carrie adaptation. I may be a little biased because this is the first adaptation I actually saw of Carrie, but it was probably my favorite in terms of acting and that kind of stuff. And I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but that's just kind of where I stand on it. It's very similar to the 1976 film in terms of the changes and they made from the book and just the way it ends and just other aspects of it, which I really like. It was interesting to see it done differently. Chloe Grace Moritz is probably my favorite Carrie because she really kind of makes you get into the character's head and just you kind of see her and the way she just plays the character, she seems so innocent and you just love her and you just knowing what's going to happen at the end and makes you want to protect her. Because this is very much a character study. She plays the role really well. And she was the one I sort of pictured as Carrie. So, yeah. So in conclusion, basically, the things I get out of each adaptation. So for the new one, I think has the best Carrie, Chloe Grace Moritz playing Carrie. The 2002 version, I think, is the most faithful one. And the 1976 is probably the most classic one and just the most innovative and pretty awesome movie, to be honest with you. And Brian De Palma, who's done Scarface, really do no wrong in my eyes. So, yeah. Alright, that's all I really have for today. I'm sorry for the camera kind of pausing and all that. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I just really wanted to do a video. I'm going to look into that this week. I know it's annoying. It's kind of annoyed me a little bit today. So hopefully I'll have a video up on Wednesday. If not, I definitely will on Sunday. So I'm actually challenging myself to read every single Stephen King book. So expect to see a lot more Stephen King in the upcoming, I don't know, because he writes so much year. But I'm going to definitely switch it around. So it's not going to all be Stephen King. But there'll be a good chunk of Stephen King in here. So I hope that's all right with everyone. He is a very talented author. And Carrie did put him on the map, which is, I think, why this is a good thing. That I read this and finished it first. So, yeah. So I'll post all the trailer links down below for all three of the adaptations so you can get a little feel of what Carrie is about, even though I'm pretty sure you know at least some of the story. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I will see you next time.